Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 12 of the Player to Player podcast. My name's Kirk.
I'm Luke.
And today, we've got some news coming up for you. Some pretty interesting things.
Got a really good Patreon question we're going to talk about.
Patreon question that we will essentially that'll be our main topic today.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then talk about some games we've been playing and some stuff that's coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah. I think we've got a good episode.
Got a good one
up.
For you. Had a good one last week too. It was really great having Brandon.
Last week was awesome. Last week was really fun. I was a little
and Hagen.
I was a little
I was gonna say before Luke interrupted me. It was great having you both. Really appreciate it.
The
new music,
Brandon. It was awesome.
Brandon.
It was awesome having you, Brandon.
And Hagen.
Oh right, yeah, and Hagen. No, it was great having both of them. They were awesome. I wasn't sure how well 4 people were gonna be like in a podcast.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure either, especially after the 2 hours we spent setting.
Oh my gosh, no, I know. And then like.
We think we have tech issues when we try to do it here.
We picked a topic.
We do not have a mobile setup.
We picked a topic that like all 4 of us really care about,
and we tried to put news in it, which was not a good
much
idea.
Like talking.
We cut that.
There was like so much talking over each other, and like.
I listened to it, and it.
Well, I was trying to like stop when I was getting talked over.
Well,
like,
so was I. I think everybody. I think we did a pretty good job.
No, we did a good job. I just mean like if we all would have said everything we wanted to say about every movie, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
easily,
and that's kind of what I was afraid of. But no, it was actually really good.
And I'm actually proud of I'll put up the tier list. It's on the Facebook group, and maybe I'll put it on Instagram, or TikTok. It's on TikTok mostly.
Can you drop Hulk into D tier?
Like
when you post it though, like
no, I'll put that up. I'm actually proud of the tier list that the 4 of us made.
Yeah,
I'm
mostly proud of it. Yeah, so the someone commented on our TikTok,
the TikTok
and was
comments
like,
were brutal.
This list isn't it. And,
they were brutal.
And I responded to it. Did you see what I said?
That were filtered out because of profanity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did you see what I said? To the guy who was like, this list
you try making a list with
I was like, I mean, okay, so like everyone has like their list, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like when you try and take everyone's list and then put it together, it's like, and then the other thing is that one of the things that we argued about the most is what movie goes before what movie and what tier. You know what I mean? So it's like S tier. It was like, well, where does No Way? Yeah, I'm aware of that, but that's like. The point is they're all 5-star movies. They're all that good. Like, and on any given day, you could be convinced that one movie was better than the other one in S tier.
No,
like that's what I'm saying. So it's like, you know, like we argued about where No Way Home went, and it ended up being below Infinity War, which I would still put it above Infinity War myself. But again, like based off
No Way Home wasn't below Infinity War. It was the top of S tier.
No, it's down 1.
Infinity War's top of S tier?
Yep, Infinity War's top of S tier.
You're right. Yeah.
So it's like I
think Infinity War's better. We don't need to get into this.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to know how I feel, go listen to last week's podcast. Totally. But my point is like the fact that like the general consensus of Marvel movies is pretty well received. Like for the most part, the fan base agrees on most on what tier movies would go in.
Yeah.
The disagreement comes from which movie is better, and that's all just like that's something really interesting about movies. It's totally dependent on first watch through and impact and like where you are in your theater experience, and like there's so much of that actually affects that. Yeah.
So one of the comments was that all of the movies were too high. That most of them he would put into. Some of them in A tier, most of them in B tier, and then a lot of them in C tier.
Yeah.
But he's saying out of movies in general, and I think we all went into this thinking as far as Marvel movies.
Yeah, but I kind of felt the same way, and like just about Marvel movies in general. Like once we got to like Thor, Captain America, like the Iron Man 2, those ones were like right around each other. Once we got to those ones, I wanted to like drop all those down. Those are all in A tier. I personally wanted to drop them all into B tier.
But are you saying as far like just in a vacuum, Marvel
Yes,
movies?
in a vacuum of Marvel movies, like
Well, so I think that comment was saying as far as movies in
right.
general
Yes,
go,
I understand that
which I
too.
think I probably agree with that. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't think most of the S tier movies we put up are like Gladiator, Matrix, um,
I think most
Gone
of
with
what
the
ended up in
Wind. I
S
don't
tier
know.
like goes up with some of the best movies ever made. Like
Most of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like for like my big contention was like what was in A tier. Like because there
Yeah.
was
I think if
you
we
know
did a
like
tier list of every movie, like
yeah,
like,
I mean,
like
I understand what
100
you're saying.
movies or
I
something,
guess I just
think
like
a lot of those would
I have
be lower.
difficulty like rating Marvel in a vacuum without the outside influence of other movies.
Well,
Because
no,
the
sure.
outside
Yeah,
influence of
sure.
other movies is what
It
makes or
affects your
breaks those
opinion.
movies.
No,
You know what I
totally,
mean? So it's
totally.
like one of my favorite things to do is rate movies Letterboxd.
Yeah, same.
You know, so like I really enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
And it's like so if you go look through, you can go
No,
to
you're right. I have most of my Marvel movies are
yeah,
still
exactly.
4 or 5
Are
stars.
still 4 or
No,
5 stars. Yeah,
well,
exactly. So like
okay.
but if you go and you look at like your 5-star, your 4-star, like I've done that and I'm like honestly sometimes that's what helps me get my rating is I'll rate it and then I'll be like I feel like it's
better
like
or
3.5
worse than this
stars,
movie.
and then I'll go to my list of all movies,
Right.
and then I'll be like, oh no
Yeah, you'll
way
look at
is it on
those-
the same level
yeah,
as that movie.
that's-
Like that's got to
I
drop
think
down
that's
a
the
star.
only way
you know,
you
like
can really be consistent is to
right,
just
exactly.
constantly be comparing everything.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that's kind of what I did with the Harry Potter watch through that I did is like I went through and like when I would rate them.
I can't believe you watched those movies.
Okay, they're good.
They're fine.
They're good. You haven't
fine.
seen them.
I've seen 6 of them.
No, you. First of all, no, you haven't. You've
5,
seen
whatever.
you've seen 4 of them,
felt like
which is
6.
half of the franchise.
Okay,
and
well-
second of all,
They were the bad ones.
stop.
Okay.
Anyways,
Anyways.
like when I would rate those, like I actually kind of had trouble rating those movies, because like, but anyways, what I'm trying to say is putting them in perspective, especially of Marvel movies,
Yeah.
really helped because I was like, the first Harry Potter is not as good as Black Panther, you know, or whatever,
Yeah,
and like
sure,
so like
sure.
that would help me like adjust those tiers. So like I kind of understand where he's coming from a little bit because I think
Well,
half of our A tier could have dropped.
Point being,
but
for 4 people, not bad.
yeah,
you know.
totally agree. Totally
So,
agree.
Well, let's stop extending the already 2-hour and
Yeah, for real.
podcast from last week.
At some point though, I want to do Star Wars with those guys.
Yeah, I would love
so,
to.
like,
Yeah,
I think that
absolutely
that
love
might be a
that.
3-hour podcast. So,
Certainly.
get ready for that.
Well, we might just
but-
lock the sequel trilogy to Patreon or something.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know,
But
yeah,
so
let's
got
get into
some
news.
Yeah, I got some interesting things for you. So this is well, let me just so Sega is looking for high review scores for Sonic Frontiers. No duh. Everybody wants their game to do well.
Right.
The
That
quote
doesn't make any sense.
But this is why I think it matters. Let me read the quote and then I'll tell you why I think it matters. The quote from Sega at their financial board or whatever says, if the game gets a high score, it can become a must-buy game and possibly generate synergy with sales. So we are currently working hard to improve the quality of the game towards its sales for the holiday season. So they want it to do well because it'll sell well, because it'll help them sell other games well. Of course, that's what everybody wants.
yeah.
But they've never said this about a Sonic game before explicitly. Like the fact that they're reaching for high review scores means they think they have something good here.
Sure.
And the fact that they could potentially deliver a good Sonic game would be really
Mhm.
awesome. Not that there aren't good Sonic games, but it's been a rough go over the last, several years. Other than Sonic Mania, which everybody loves. But if this is a good open world Sonic game, it will absolutely drive sales for their other Sonic games.
I didn't know this was going to be open world.
Yeah, so it's open world. That's pretty much all we know. But the trailer looks like it gives some Breath of the Wild vibes for sure. Sonic had his Breath of the Wild moment where he stands on the thing and
Interesting.
But imagine Breath of the Wild, but you can run at 250 miles an hour.
Make the map a lot smaller.
Well, you have to make the map a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Or
Interesting.
just have more.
Yeah,
things
no,
to
I mean,
do.
of course it's a good thing, like because a franchise like Sonic could pump out a game that is not good and it's going to sell well, you know. So like them realizing that their sales are like Kirby, for instance. I think Kirby is a really good example. Like
Totally.
like
Kirby sold very well.
They could have made Kirby and it could have been half as good and it still would have sold well. It's a first party Nintendo game. It's Kirby, like it's a big franchise. But the fact that they like nailed this game and like everyone was saying good things about it made so many more people go out and buy it and play it.
Yeah, I mean,
just not me.
It's kind of a given that you're gonna, you know, if it reviews better, it'll sell better.
Right.
But the fact that they're realizing as a publisher of Sonic, who is one of the biggest names in video games, that they still need to also try is good, because for a while there they weren't doing that.
Absolutely.
You know? So I just thought that was an interesting quote. Next up we have Norman Reedus is Sony's Tom Holland. And by that I mean he likes to spoil things.
Oh, okay.
According to Eurogamer.net, we have this quote from his interview. He leaked the fact that they are working currently on Death Stranding 2.
Oh my gosh.
This is the quote. It says, "It took me maybe 2 or 3 years to finish all the mocap sessions and everything. It takes a lot of work, and then the game came out, and it just won all these awards, and it was a huge thing. So we just started part 2 of that." He just like drops that at the end. And there was a whole interview, you know, this is just the kind of last thing. But this is not the first time that he has leaked info about Death Stranding. He leaked, I think it was the release date early for the first game in an interview like this too.
So don't watch Norman Reedus interviews.
Like, well, I mean, you know, or do. He's not leaking plot details.
That's true. Yes.
Yet. But it's funny because Hideo Kojima, the director of Death Stranding, the creator, he posted on Twitter a picture of him holding the Norman Reedus bat from The Walking Dead, or no, Negan's bat. Sorry.
Yeah.
To Norman Reedus's head, like he was punishing him for leaking it, basically. I don't think this is true.
Don't think they're working on Death Stranding 2?
No, I think they fed him a line, and said leak this. I think Kojima's working on something else, and he didn't want anybody.
Silent Hill?
No, it's not. I wish it was Silent Hill. It's not.
Can you play like some conspiracy theory music over what you were just saying? Like
no. Silent Hill is being worked on by a different studio, and there were leaks about that. And that's actually not the main game. It's a whole thing. I didn't want to talk about it because none of it's confirmed at all.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. But anyways, point being, I think
if anyone was going to do that, I guess it would be Kojima.
It would be Kojima because he's weird. But anyway, it's just kind of funny.
That's just going to upset everyone who wanted Death Stranding too.
I think it will. Like, well, yeah, I don't know if it'll come or not, but I haven't even played it, so.
This is really interesting. I literally only know the title here, but
what's interesting?
EA is reportedly looking to sell or merge.
Yes, let's jump into the next topic.
Tell me about this.
EA is looking for a buyer, or a merger. So here is a couple of quotes from their I don't know what these meetings are called. Their financials, their year to date, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, this is the quote. It says, "In recent years, as media companies have taken greater interest in rapidly growing gaming industry, Wilson and Electronic Arts have held talks with a number of different potential suitors, including Disney, Apple, and Amazon." Sources with knowledge of those told me. Several sources familiar with these talks say EA has been persistent in pursuing a sale and has only grown more emboldened in the wake of the Microsoft Activision deal. Others say that EA is primarily interested in merger arrangement that would allow Wilson to remain as chief executive of the combined company. My bad. This is a confirmed leak. This is for sure true, but it's not actually EA didn't. This came from
I don't like any of those three options.
Andrew Wilson. I don't know. It's from Kotaku is where I got the article. So go check that out.
I don't like Apple, Amazon, or what was the
No,
other one?
Disney.
Disney. I don't want any of those
I
things to
actually,
happen.
I wouldn't mind Disney buying EA actually.
I don't know. It's just everything.
Well, Disney doesn't have a game studio, and they could really use people who know what the heck they're doing. And Disney is the one who made them stop all of that bullcrap with Battlefront.
I mean, that's true.
So if they could bring EA under the Disney banner,
I definitely don't want Apple or Amazon to get it.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Apple buying EA.
No, Apple has like been like playing around with the idea of getting into the video game industry for a long time.
Well, they're working on a headset right now, and that's probably going to come out.
If there's anything I don't want Apple to mess with, it's video game.
Well, like, EA is already trash, so how much more trash can it be?
They could be exclusive to iOS.
Yeah, but then we don't have to deal with their stuff.
I mean,
yeah, no, you're right. You're
like,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
right. You're right.
Like they could get worse.
Anyways, the point is they're going to these huge companies looking for offers, or maybe smaller companies to potentially. Yeah, so that's just what's going on.
Man,
so keep an eye on EA.
That's interesting. Really curious to see what happens
if
there.
I could choose an outcome, I would say let Disney buy them, let Disney learn from them, but also hold them back when it comes to all of the microtransaction garbage.
I mean, if
doing.
I had
because
a choice,
Disney has enough money to not be like, oh, we need FIFA money. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, but if
like they're gonna want ROI.
If I had a choice, I would just send them to Microsoft. Like, just give EA to Microsoft.
Yeah, but
like
Microsoft is like approaching dangerous territory when it comes to monopoly. So
no, they're not.
No, they're
not in video games.
If they get EA, they're gonna own. That's like half of the games industry.
That's not a monopoly.
Half?
Yeah,
it's pretty close.
Do you know what mono means?
Whatever, Luke. Anyways, next topic line, whatever. I'm not a newscaster.
Mono means one.
Thanks. Embracer Group. So they recently bought the Western division of Square Enix, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crystal Dynamics.
So, right?
Yeah. So that included Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and other IPs. So they just said that, quote, we see great potential not only in sequels, but also in remakes, remasters, spin-offs, as well as transmedia projects across the group.
That's awesome.
So what they're saying is they're going to use these IPs. They bought them for a reason.
Right. What was that? Was it Tomb Raider Legacy on Xbox that we played? Legends?
Yes.
How cool would a Legends remake be?
Honestly, a remaster
would be fine.
Even a straight port to Switch, I would take that all day.
Legends was so much fun.
Yeah, Legends Anniversary and then Legends 2, whatever they call it.
Legends is actually the only Tomb Raider game I've ever played.
But it's really good.
It's really good. It's got a really cool story. Yeah. I loved going to all the maps and stuff.
In my opinion, Legends up until that point was the peak of the. So you played a good one.
It was like
and the newer Tomb Raider games, like they're good games, but she only really becomes Tomb Raider that we know and love by the end of the games.
Right.
And the games are not really as focused on raiding tombs as like they are about the narrative, which is
I'm okay with
fine.
like an origin story, right? But like let's see a sequel. Let's see a sequel that is now Tomb Raider.
Yeah, totally.
The rich
So
Lara Croft.
I'm down for a sequel. Please make a sequel.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're going to. Sounds like they're going to work on that.
New Deus Ex games would be great. Ports of Deus Ex would be good. A collection of Deus Ex or a collection of the Legends games, things like that. Thief, I would love a new game. I've always wanted Thief to be good. So that would be sweet. Legacy of Kain really needs a return. That's basically a dead franchise.
Thief has so much potential as what it is.
So I know.
When I played Skyrim, I played a rogue. I played a thief. That's pretty normal for me in video games. So I did the main storyline and it sucked. I hated it. I played the
the side quest.
What's it called? The Thieves Guild quest.
The Thieves Guild quest
was so good.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was so
That
much
was really good.
fun.
I did that
and
one
if
too.
you took the Thieves Guild quest and gave me an entire 40-hour game, 30-hour game, like that would be so good.
Probably
like
closer to 20. But
I mean, whatever. Like, there's so much potential there for it being good.
Yeah.
Even if you just gave me a giant city to like open world in, and I could just break into every building, and I could steal stuff, and I could have like a mission, like that would be so cool.
Yeah,
that would be so much
cool.
fun.
It would be cool.
And I feel like we don't really have any like really solid games like that.
Yeah. So we got a question from our patron Cole. We just tripled our patrons on Patreon.
We got one on the podcast last week.
We did, yeah.
Or that might have been
Hagen
that might
signed
have
up?
been the Patreon.
do
I'm
you-
not sure at what point he signed up.
That might have
If
been.
he signed up in the Patreon
It was
episode
the end
or
of the
in
podcast.
end of the podcast.
End of the
Very
podcast.
nice. Very nice.
If you ever want to support the podcast, you can go on to patreon.com/player2games. We've got a few different tiers on there, but just the normal $5 tier gets you in and gets you access to all of our exclusive content. We do a new episode pretty much every week.
Mostly. Sometimes
we
miss,
try to
but
do something every week.
We try not to.
We did a Doctor Strange discussion last week with Hagen and Brandon, and that was
Yep.
really good. We've got some zombies playthroughs, some Lego Skywalker Saga on there, and then any questions or things you have for us, you can totally leave those in there. And if you want, we'll bring them up on the podcast. So yeah, really, really appreciate you guys doing that. And if you can't do that, always appreciate comments, likes, rates, and reviews. Rates and reviews honestly are super helpful, especially on Apple Podcasts or Spotify even. And you can always ask us a question through Spotify as well.
Yeah,
always have
or
a pull up
YouTube
there.
comment or whatever. But
Yeah, but we got our first question from Patreon. This comes from Cole. He says, "Here's a question, fellas. I just finished playing 12 minutes per Luke's recommendation. It was a really enjoyable game, but you can waste so much time accomplishing very little because you have to get all the sequence of events just right for the story to progress. It got to the point where I knew pretty much all of the information for the story. I just didn't know how to put the pieces together to make the story transition. I tried for hours. Finally, I'm ashamed to say, I looked up the exact sequence of events to make the game end. All that to say, since you guys go through a lot more games than I do in a year, how often, if ever, you guys take the easy way out if you're stuck in a game?" And I will just
this
say,
is a really good
Luke
question.
does not go through as many games as you do in a year because he only plays Call of Duty.
No.
And
No.
we only get one of those a year.
No.
So he plays 1.5 games per year.
No.
Black Ops 3 and whatever the new Call of Duty is.
I don't always play the new Call of Duty.
How
Gosh.
many games would you say, before we get into this, that you actually do play all the way through in a year? How many individual different games?
No idea. Like, I don't know. Not. I have no idea. Like 10, 15 maybe?
Yeah.
Like, not. I'm definitely not playing one a week or anything like that.
Also, I would like to point out this new setup is incredibly uncomfortable, but I like that I can look at you a lot easier sitting across from me
yeah.
like this.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have to figure out different legs for this table, but
yeah.
anyways.
My leg is currently like this far above my other leg while it just sits on a bar. It's extremely uncomfortable.
So
it
you
might be a short episode today.
you play a few games per year.
Yeah, I do. I mean, like it's hard because
When you play Dragon Age, you beat it like 3 or 4 times in 1 year.
So because the difficult thing is I'm not playing new games very often. Like
Right.
I'm usually replaying stuff.
Even if I buy them for him, he doesn't
no,
play them.
so and also I play a lot of I mean not recently, but like typically I play a ton of Smash. I play the new Madden usually because EA gives you a
But that's
like a trial through Game
there's not
Pass.
actually a
So it's not-
story mode. There's
Not-
like a campaign.
No, not really. Yeah, and the campaign literally goes on forever. It just,
does it?
literally until you decide to retire as whatever
Gotcha.
player, coach, whatever you play as. And it's not fun. Like there's no like that. I don't play it for that anyways. The stories are never good, and they're
Yeah.
like the same. They had the same exact character model 2 years in a row, just different storylines because I don't know.
What do you mean?
Yeah, the character was the same person.
Oh, there's like a player character.
Yeah, the character that you play as. Well, I guess it's not you can customize your player, but the player that they like did in all the trailers and like the one that you like walk into the bathroom and you look in the mirror and then who are you or whatever. The default was the same exact thing like 2 years in a row. Yeah, so it's like I mean it's hard because I play games like that or like Call of Duty. I mean I guess I play campaigns for Call of Duties, but like I didn't play Vanguard, and then I really only play Treyarch's and Infinity Wars Call of Duty. Right. So sometimes I have a couple years. But
so as far as new games that come out in a year, you're beating
it just totally
2 or
depends.
3 probably.
I'm really bad about beating games. Like
what do you mean?
I don't know. Like I still
like you just
Breath
don't finish
the Wild.
it.
Like
well, yeah, but that's because you're trying to 100% it.
Well, right, exactly, and I don't know.
I never recommend on the first playthrough. It is your first playthrough.
Not really.
You haven't finished the game.
Yeah, but I did everything story-wise except for the game. Except for the boss fight.
And then he gets mad about spoilers. It's like you put 400 hours into this game. You don't get upset about spoilers.
No. First of all, only 225. Second of all,
okay, maybe that's Katrina I was thinking of.
Actually, no, I think I'm only at 180. Katrina is like at like 300 or something like that. Yeah, and she hasn't beat canon.
That's our 16-year-old little sister. She doesn't have. I don't think she's done any side quests. She just runs in circles and has fun in that game. It's wild. I mean, and she doesn't enjoy the combat either.
If there's a game to do that in, it's Breath of the Wild.
Totally.
So
we're also not answering the question. So point being, not that many games in a year, right?
Yeah.
But you've played a lot of games over your lifetime.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think
it's so difficult for me.
You're still qualified to answer the question.
Yes, I am. And no, this is a great question because I totally understand where he's coming from. Yeah. And so, for instance, I haven't beat 12 minutes because listen. This
freaking guy.
I said this when I recommended it too, is that I didn't finish it. Okay. But the reason I didn't beat it is because I got frustrated because I was having trouble figuring it out.
That he did.
Right, exactly. But instead of looking it up, I decided I'll just take a break and come back to it because I do that with puzzle games too. And I just never came back to it. I don't know. It's definitely if you ever play this game, finish it in one sitting. I wouldn't recommend going away and coming back to it. But
I did that. I think I put I feel like I played it 4 hours.
Yeah. I wasn't maybe an hour and a half or whatever, but I think I even had something going on later in the day or whatever. So I had to leave. So it was either look it up.
Well,
or,
I'm just saying it is possible to play it in one sitting.
Yeah. And I'm saying you should
totally. Well, I don't think, first of all, I don't think you should ever be ashamed for looking it up.
No, I don't. You
play the game the way that you want to play the game.
Exactly.
So if you decide that you need to,
this is really interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine, when he is a huge Souls fan.
Later.
Yeah, say your point later.
Cool. Go ahead.
He's a huge Souls fan. He has played all the Souls games. He played Sekiro. He played everything. Okay. So he was super excited for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Elden Ring came out, and he purposefully didn't buy it because he wanted to give it a week or two because he figured there would be some bugs on initial release that he didn't want to deal with, which he was right.
Also, reviews and stuff.
He reads everything about the game. He reads everything about the game. He looks up guides and reads the guides before he plays the game.
He does that for all Souls games?
For pretty much all video games that he plays.
Oh, really?
He wants to know everything about the game. He wants to know where the secrets are, so he doesn't miss anything.
That's so weird to me.
It's super weird to me too. And I was talking to him about
nothing ever surprises you,
right? And I was like, dude, there's no way. There's no way I could do that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't get into games if I don't. He's like, it immerses me so much more.
He needs stuff
if I know what's going on. If I know what to do. It is weird, but the thing is I can't enjoy games like that. But I'm not the one doing it. Enjoy the game however you want to enjoy it.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's definitely times where I've had to look stuff up. The one time I will always look something up is if I've solved it before. And I for instance.
If you're playing,
we'll talk about this a little more. But I'm playing through Coder
on Korban.
I love that puzzle.
Oh, okay.
I love that puzzle.
I freaking hated that thing, dude.
So I was on Dantooine and I got to the murder investigation. And I always had trouble solving that.
It's that the only reason that is hard to solve is because of the asinine, like sort of like this game, except for I think this designed better. 12 minutes, that is. The way that you have to do things in the exact right order to get things to trigger is why that is a frustrating quest.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, and so you have to talk. So if you don't know,
that being said, I would still rather do it without looking it up.
No, I agree with you. But yeah, the first time, yes, exactly. And I always try and do everything the first time without looking it up.
Yeah.
But then like in a second playthrough, if I have if I get to this part and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do. I just like I literally got to it. I talked to 2 guys and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I just looked up a guide and then like went through it.
But so in what situation the first time playing through will you decide that you need to look something up?
Once I'm no longer enjoying the puzzle.
Once it's not fun anymore.
Once it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna play a game, like why play it if it's not fun? Like
That's hard though, because I've played almost like pretty close to every Zelda game and finished them. And there are lots of puzzles I was not enjoying, but I enjoyed figuring it out. Like,
no, I agree with you.
Once I was like, oh, got it.
Right.
Then it was fun.
I agree with you. That's the fun part. But there comes a point to where figuring it out is not even like fun for me at all. Like when Zelda's a good example. I go into like a shrine in Breath of the Wild or a temple and there's a puzzle and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, I'm not really getting it. And like I test, oh well, maybe this item, maybe this item or whatever. But once I feel like I've exhausted everything that I can do, like I've tried every item in my inventory, I've tried every single thing. I'm like, there's either
I like still going.
I like to
after
like
that,
re-look at it, you know, and then attempt. But there at some point in that process it becomes not fun, and I would rather look it up, especially when like
I'll leave and come back later. Like,
yeah, no, I'll do that sometimes too.
And then really, maybe after 3 tries of that, then finally maybe or you know what? Sometimes I'll look it up if I feel like I mean, this is kind of the same definition, but if it's just not fun to do, like if it's really hard and it's just annoying,
right?
Like I'll just look it up.
Yeah, no,
I just don't want to.
That's kind of what I mean. Like once it gets to the point to where it's more annoying than fun to figure out, you know, then I'll look it up. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of good examples. There was a Dragon Age puzzle that I was doing. It was a floor puzzle, and you had to like get all the spaces lit up or something like that. But it was, you know, when you turned on one, the ones next to it shut off and kind of thing. So like basically, it was like this big like 4x4, I think, maybe 5x5, and then you'd go interact with a space on the floor, and it would light up the ones next to it. You had to get the whole puzzle to light up. I spent maybe an hour and a half. There's a puzzle like that, maybe 2 hours, trying to figure out this puzzle. And I just could not do it. And Daniel was watching me do this, and he was like oh, I think I figured this out. Yeah. And I knew he looked it up because I saw him on his phone. But at that point I was just like I knew that he looked it up, and I was willing to accept defeat at this point. So I was like,
totally
okay, whatever. Like, tell me how to do it. Yeah. And then I was like, also, you looked that up, cheater. And he was like, well, yeah. He was like, it was really hard to watch.
So dumb.
Like, well, he knew I didn't want to look it up. He knew I wanted to solve it. Sure. But he was like struggling to watch me do it.
I don't mind that. Like if I'm playing essentially with one and they figure it out, that's fine,
totally.
Because you know it's a
also I don't know, like
it's hard to play. It's hard to do the puzzle when you know the person watching knows the solution. Yeah. You're just like, all right, fine, just do the thing. So.
When you have such a limited time to play games, sometimes I don't want to.
That's a good point.
I don't want to
Yeah,
focus
that's a
on
good
a
point.
puzzle.
For
like,
sure.
For instance,
sure.
Breath of the Wild. If I'm like, man, I really like I haven't played anything this week. I've got like 2 hours to play, and I go into a shrine, and most shrines you figure out like you just walk through them.
Some shrines are 2
some
hours,
shrines
though.
are really difficult.
Yeah, totally.
But if you go into a really difficult shrine when you're on a time crunch, it's like I would almost rather just look it up, get my thing, and then enjoy the rest of my time.
For sure.
Because there has been times where I've been playing a game, for instance, like 12 minutes, and I wasn't able to figure it out, and then because of my time crunch, I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
And that's partially the reason I never went back to it. Like,
well, what's that classic copy pasta? Like, you cheated yourself and the game, and you learn nothing from this experience, and but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure, yeah, but I disagree with that. You know, like,
yeah, no, totally.
Yeah,
I disagree for sure.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see. What did he say? How often, if ever, do you take the easy way out if you're stuck? Yeah, I mean, I
think like you said, when it stops being fun, or when you run out of time, you're like, I just want to finish this.
Yeah, and like I don't think there's a reason to like be like ashamed about it or like to feel bad about it. You know,
totally.
Like, I mean, for instance, I've played
I will say though, more often than not, it is worth it to try longer than you want to.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Like,
it's way more satisfying to get it, and so more often than not, like, because I've played.
Oh, you know what though? I think I actually did look up how to finish this game.
Did you really?
I think I
did.
did.
That's awesome.
I think because I knew the whole story. So, you want to just get into spoilers for it? Okay. So, spoilers for 12 minutes. If you are gonna play, skip this part of the. Skip ahead 5 minutes or something, but
12 minutes.
Skip ahead 12 minutes. I'm not going to talk about it.
We're going to do 100% playthrough.
Okay, so the whole thing is, you find out that your wife is your sister.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and that she's pregnant. And then a guy comes in and he wants to kill your wife, because she did this really bad thing a long time ago. That resulted in the death of his daughter or something like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you have to find all that stuff out by playing the 12 minutes differently every time.
Right.
By tying the guy up, by electrocuting him, and he wakes up, and then
I didn't do that
he's tied up. Then you can interrogate him. There's like a whole bunch of different ways to kill him. Your wife finds out about it. You can like find the baby clothes in the present if you open it early.
Yep. Yeah,
and then you find out she's pregnant.
Right.
And then there's a watch underneath the vent in the sink that you find that.
Yep,
and
I found that.
Get her to explain it, and then there's a picture of her at a New Year's Eve party. So there's all kinds of different stuff that you have to find in order to get answers out of the people.
Right.
You can also steal the guy's phone and call his daughter. You find out that's his daughter.
Oh, interesting.
And that's his weakness. That's how you get him to tell you why he's actually there,
Huh.
Is because you threaten to tell his daughter what he's doing. And so once you kind of get all of that stuff, it's still like, how do I get this game to finish? How do I get it to end? And there's several different endings, and that's kind of why I looked it up, is because,
sure,
but basically you find out that none of that happened. It's all in your head. You're talking to you find out that this girl you're in love with is your sister, and you're really conflicted about it. You talk to her dad about it, and her dad is like, you can't do that, and he's basically playing out in his head if he decides what's gonna happen if he decides to go through with it or whatever.
Interesting.
So it's a really good game. Just like wave at the camera. Now you can watch the video again.
Spoilers over.
I'll put a thing in. Yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of like you have to do it in a certain order to figure it out.
That's another thing that I've done before is like I've looked up alternate endings. Oh, when I played Doki Doki, I played.
Don't spoil that.
I'm not spoiling anything for Doki Doki, but
if you haven't played Doki Doki Literature Club on Steam, Download it on Steam and play it.
Okay, don't
On
right,
your
right here,
computer.
right here. Don't look up anything. Don't read
Don't
anything.
look up anything. Don't read any reviews.
Yes, it's a Japanese
Trust
dating
us.
sim.
Trust
That's
us.
all you need to know.
Trust
Download
us.
it, play it.
Trust us.
It's amazing.
Like 4
It's
hours,
one of
right?
the best. Yeah, it's one of the best games I've ever played. And
It is absolutely worth it.
oh my
Even though
gosh,
for the
it's-
first 3.5 hours you will think it's not.
it is
telling you,
phenomenal.
it's worth it.
It is such a good game.
Everyone I've told to play it loved it.
Yeah, same. Like I've literally sat through. I had a friend play it, and I sat behind him the entire time he played it.
Nice.
And I was doing something else, and he was just sitting there like this, like
Yeah, it's a
like so
it's a dating
so
sim,
not
but,
into it.
But
And
there's
then,
more to
and
it.
then he lost his mind.
Yeah.
Like oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's so good.
It's
so,
super rewarding.
But anyways, there's multiple.
Don't play it on console. Play it on
No, yeah, you
play
have
it
to.
on Steam.
You have to play it on Steam, or if
Yeah.
there's another like game
Yeah.
launcher or
Play it
whatever.
on your
But play it on
computer.
PC
Yeah.
for sure. Anyways, there's multiple endings for it,
Right.
right? So like I played it through, was amazed. I was like, okay, well now I want all the endings.
Sure.
So
and
I
then
start.
for those
I
other
started.
playthroughs you
I
looked
started to
at.
play through it again. I played through it again after looking up what I have to do to get the other ending.
Right.
Didn't get a different ending.
Oh,
And then I just went and
okay.
looked up all the endings,
Yeah,
like because I was
totally.
like, I'm not gonna play this game
Well,
like 7 times. Like,
Looking up the ending too is different. Like if you play through a game and you finish it and you look at the alternate endings, I don't see a problem with that either. I wouldn't be. The point is, play the game the way you want to play the game.
Right.
Like, don't ever be ashamed.
yeah, no, like
you have to look something
if
up.
you are enjoying the game,
if you
then,
want to challenge yourself and hold yourself to a higher standard, and like conquer a game, don't look it up. But if you want to just play it and have a good time,
yeah,
like
do whatever. I mean, like
so.
the point of games is to have fun, to like
Yeah.
relax, to
Yep.
to like check out of life for a little bit,
Yeah.
or whatever. And if there's something in a game that you want to play that prevents you from doing it, like
Totally.
skip it,
Whether it's
you know?
difficulty level
yeah.
or a puzzle or
I almost
a narrative,
like
whatever it is.
I used to not so much anymore because I'm just overall better at video games now than I used to be.
Yeah.
But like when I was a teenager, I would play pretty much all games, especially role playing games, on easy the first time. So
Yeah.
like when I would play role playing games,
Well, it's because you're a casual.
so when I would play like a new RPG
That was-
like
you're supposed
Dragon
to-
Age.
Can you at least acknowledge it?
No. When I'd play like Dragon Age, like so I'd play on easy. I would do no side quests. I just wanted the main quest. So I'd go do the main quest and then I'd get an ending. And then like that now and because that's usually all I care about in my first playthrough.
Yeah.
And then the second time I played Dragon Age, I changed it to normal or whatever. Like I'd increased the difficulty. And then I did absolutely everything because I already knew the main story beats. So like
Yeah.
for like Dragon Age, all 3 of those games, the main storyline is so good that I don't want to do anything other than the main storyline. Like I just want to get to the next story point and the next story point and the next story point. So I was trying to play differently in Inquisition the first time. I was trying to do like all the side quests and stuff, and then I got to like a peak point in the story and I just no more side quests. Like there's still 3 or 4 different like areas I haven't even been to in that game
Yeah.
because I just
Wow.
I just did story.
wild.
Like so then I started playing it again and then I was doing
it's
everything.
hard, dude. That's kind of a tangent, but it's a podcast, so whatever. That's kind of hard when you get to the end of a narrative like that in a big BioWare game or a big
Mhm.
narrative game. Even Skyrim.
Yeah.
You get to the end and it's like, I want to see how this turns out.
Right.
And then it's like, oh well, if you want to go get some extra fuel cells for the ship, it's like, I don't know.
No.
Like, I
yeah,
don't wanna do
exactly.
that.
Like so
So what have you been playing, Luke?
you will not be shocked to know I've been
Call of
replaying
Duty.
something. No.
Black Ops 3.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've been playing that too. I like just a little bit.
Yeah.
But Coder,
Knights of the Old Republic.
the first one. I'm
Talking quietly.
yeah. I know. No, I don't remember what was it that made me want to play it. I don't know. I've just been super hyped for Star Wars cuz we're getting Obi-Wan
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Friday, so like I've been very excited.
I'm very excited.
But no, like so I got Coder and I'm modding it, and it is really fun.
What kind
It
of
is really fun.
What
So
mods are you doing?
literally so much. So like lots of reskins, retextures, stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know. But I found a Jedi from the Start mod
Okay.
that is really cool. So you start on the Endar Spire,
Yeah.
and traditionally also possible spoilers for
Yeah,
Coder, like
minor spoilers.
it's a 20+ year old game, like if sort of your
20
fault.
plus? No way.
No, close. No. What year did it come out?
Like 2003, probably.
2003. So
almost,
pretty close to
wow.
20 years. Like,
That's
but
crazy.
regardless, it's a very
anyways.
old. It's a
It's an old game.
18+year-old game. Like,
you should play it.
it's great. You should play it. If you are intending to play it, you can just skip the conversation. But no. So I got a Jedi from the start. So normally you wake up on the Endar Spire, right? And then Trask comes running in, and he's like, we're under attack. Like, get your stuff on. We got to go protect Bastila. Blah 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 blah. Well, in the Jedi one, you get out of bed. You get an auto level right there, which gives you a Jedi level. It lets you pick. It lets you pick Guardian, Sentinel, Consular, and then you pick no Trask. Doesn't come in at all. Then you go over. You open your foot locker, and you have Jedi robes, and you have a lightsaber, and it's either yellow, blue, or green. And then you go through Sentinel, Guardian, or Consular.
Oh,
whatever
you pick that.
Yeah, you pick Sentinel,
cool,
Guardian.
cool.
It gives you a text box. You know, it says who am I?
Gotcha.
I am your name, a Jedi Sentinel. I am your name, a Jedi
Okay.
Guardian. You know. And then you go through the Endar Spire by yourself. And then I don't know if it's
cool.
the Jedi from the Start mod. I want to say it is, but you know the Dark Jedi fighting.
You get to fight him?
No, you don't get to fight him, which is kind of a bummer.
Lame.
But you go in and he has two lightsabers. He has a red and a purple lightsaber, and he's fighting her with two lightsabers instead of the double blade.
He's fighting who?
The Jedi, the girl Jedi that's in there. Like,
I thought it was a guy.
I don't think
Isn't
so.
it normally a guy?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the Sith
It's Darth
is
Bandon.
the Sith
Yeah.
is a guy. Well,
It's
oh
Bandon.
yeah, I guess. But anyways, so he's fighting there, but he has, instead of his double bladed red,
Right,
he
he's
has
got-
one red and a short purple, which is
Like
which is
Revan?
kind of cool. Yeah, which is a little weird, but anyways, and then you go over to him when he dies, and you loot him, and you get a short purple lightsaber,
So-
and then you get a red crystal.
Okay, so heavy spoilers for Coder. Please skip this. I haven't played. What if it changes the story?
What do you mean?
What if you're not Revan?
I think you are. I'm pretty sure you are.
What if you're not though?
I feel like the mod would
What
tell
if they
you
made
like
Darth Bandon Revan?
no.
You don't think so?
Yeah, definitely not. There's too many. No. You were still
All right. Okay.
Revan.
All right.
You know, but anyways,
So
but
what's that
then,
gonna look like on Dantooine?
Well, I just played Dantooine, so
Okay.
like you get to Dantooine,
And
and then they cut the audio in the dialogue, and when what's the Twi'lek master?
Vrook?
Is it Vrook? Not Vrook. Not Vandar. It's not. I literally just played this.
Oh, Vrook is the Yoda.
No, Vandar is Yoda.
Oh, Vrook is the old guy.
Vrook's the
You're
old
right,
guy,
you're right.
and then there's the other
Vrook, Vandar.
the old black guy, and then there's the Twi'lek.
I don't remember either of those.
I don't either. I don't know why. I just played it. But anyways, he has audio where, because he's the one who's kind of training you. Like, he tells you you are now an apprentice and soon you'll be a Padawan. Well, they took that audio, and that's one of the first things that he says to you is that we need to train you. Currently, you're an apprentice, and then you will need to, and you actually, you because there's also Coruscant dialogue, because you're like, in the normal playthrough, you're like, oh, this is a different
Coruscant
council
dialogue?
from, I thought the High Council was on Coruscant, and Vandar
is.
goes, yes, the council is on Coruscant, but we have a separate training council here on Dantooine.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking? Do you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Well, your dialogue is, the council that, it's like the council that you, first of all, you recognize one of the masters. You say, oh, like, I'm familiar.
Gotcha.
And then you're like, oh, I thought, like, this is not the council I'm familiar with, or something like that. You know,
gotcha,
you're like,
gotcha.
but basically,
Oh, cool.
so like whenever So if this was the story, instead of you like losing your memory and just being a soldier or a
Right.
scout or whatever, you lost your memory and they just immediately retrained you as a Jedi, which is cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Also, there's this mod. I meant to send this to you. Let me show you real quick. It's pretty cool. So when you train with Bastila, like just in the you're like doing all your training, right? And then you fight Bastila with a vibro blade. You don't actually fight her in game. It's a cutscene.
They just trained it to lightsabers.
We're fighting with lightsabers.
That's cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
Look at that.
cool.
Like it looks so awesome.
They give you a blue rub too?
Yeah.
You don't normally get a blue rub.
Do you get a brown one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the blue rubs are for the council.
No, one in the council wears a different. Doesn't wear blue.
Oh, huh. That's cool.
Yeah, and so I don't know.
That's really neat that they changed all that.
Yeah, well, that one is a different mod. That's actually a specific mod just to
Which one?
Them fighting with lightsabers.
Oh,
That's a specific mod, literally just for that. That's all it does.
that's cool. It's still cool though.
But no, yeah, there's been all sorts of stuff like that. There's 2 new planets that I have to explore.
Like
Yavin
brand
4.
new planets, or no, they're from the DLC.
No.
Yavin 4 is from the DLC?
Yeah, not yet. No. What you go to a like outpost with the DLC, but it's not actually a planet. Literally just a like black market outpost basically. There's a guy that sells good stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I got a mod. That guy takes you down to
really?
to the planet's surface.
Is it a full planet?
Yeah,
like as much as Tatooine?
Well, Tatooine's packed. Like
That's
Tatooine's probably not.
Kashyyyk?
Yeah, probably. I haven't played it yet, but like it said 10 quests.
What?
A main quest and then 9 side quests.
And it's fully voice acted and stuff?
No, not yet.
Oh,
the thing says that they intend to voice act it. I don't know when the mod was made though.
Yeah.
It is so everyone talks with an alien voice.
Oh, okay.
And the character models aren't perfect, but it's cool. It's more coder content.
So Yavin and what else?
I just a fan made up planet. I forget what it's called.
That's cool.
But that one's a smaller one. There's only 2 or 3 quests on it. But I mean, it's cool that there's it's just more stuff to do. You know, it's really neat.
That's neat.
And then I got a whole new like main line story quest of stuff basically that I'm gonna be able to do. It's called like Tales of the Brotherhood or something like that.
What's that?
It's another like just quest that you play throughout the entire game. And I think at some point you go to
That's cool.
like you might have new areas that it introduces to. I don't know. I tried not to read much about them because I want to play it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's super cool. It makes me wonder like what we're going to get from the remake. Like it's going to be a traditional remake, right? But like what like I don't know.
I don't think it'll be anything like this. I think
I don't think it will either.
I think it'll be expanded content, but I don't think the dialogue is going to be the same. I don't think the combat will be the same. It won't look or play the same.
What do you mean the dialogue won't be the same?
I don't think it'll be in the same. Like I think it'll be the same spirit of the, but I think your character will probably be voiced.
Oh yeah.
And
I'd be really surprised.
I think
if
you'll
your
have
character isn't.
light side and dark side options and stuff. But
I just hope you still have. So like one of the things that BioWare did with Dragon Age, possibly you'll have to tell me if they did it with Mass Effect, but in the first one you have like the coder style dialogue box. You have 1 through whatever options.
In Mass Effect you have a wheel.
But do they say things or is it just emotion?
They talk.
Okay, well in Dragon Age 2, and then they do it better in Inquisition, but it is kind of an Inquisition. You pick like witty, like noble, smart, or whatever, and then you pick.
It's kind of like that in Mass Effect, where it'll just give you a shorter version of the sentence.
Okay.
Or it'll
See,
be
Dragon
but,
Age doesn't give
but
you.
what that results in is sometimes you say something that you
Right,
did
that's
not
what I was
mean
gonna
to
say. Dragon Age doesn't do that at all. And then when you give, like they literally just you pick your attitude basically. Like,
Right.
and most of the time it's good, but sometimes like for instance, I did like there's the humorous one,
Uh-huh.
and I did an entire gameplay where I was doing that. But sometimes you don't know who you're making fun of. Like something might happen with your companion, and you might make a joke about the situation, or you might make fun of your companion.
Oh yeah.
But because there's
Right.
like an influence meter, you make
Right.
fun of your companion,
And
then you
you
lose
lose
influence.
influence,
So it's like
yeah.
that was super frustrating. They do that a lot better in Inquisition. So I really hope they don't do that. I want the dialogue box for Coder.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we'll see. But
I don't know. I just like, and also I mean just like little quality of life things, or the fact that you train with lightsabers
Well,
instead of vibroblades, or like
I
stuff
don't
like
think
that.
it'll be quality of life things in the sense that quality of life is generally upgrading a system or a mechanic in the game
Well, I think
in a
I
better
think we
way.
see a whole new menu.
I think everything I think it will look more like other games than it does the original.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see. It'll
Do you
come
think we'll
out
get
in
Coder 2?
5 years. Coder 2, I don't know.
You think it'll be dependent on how well Coder does?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna great. Like it's gonna
Yeah,
kill it.
it will.
You know.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm so excited.
I'm
for
really
it.
excited. I'm
Like,
trying not to be
and
because it's so
oh
far
my gosh,
away.
I would be so excited for Coder 2 because like the restored.
Yeah.
So there is a restored content mod for
It doesn't
Coder
work very well,
Coder
though, does
for the
it?
first Coder.
There is?
But there's not much.
The restored content
some
mod
of
for Coder 2 has a lot.
yeah, so some of the restored content for Coder is literally just I was reading about it. It's like just glitches that were originally in the game or whatever
that's
that they
dumb.
took out. It's like I don't want that. like one of them was so freaking weird. Like I don't know why you would want to put this back into the game. It's like when you go somewhere on Tatooine with Mission, then she goes back to the Ebon Hawk, then she has nothing equipped. Like
Oh, yeah.
like
That's
why would you
weird.
want to do like that doesn't make any
Well,
sense,
unless there's an
you know?
exploit
Like
with that.
I'm sure, I
something,
guess, like
but-
if you're able to like duplicate stuff or whatever, you know, but also like you can just give yourself, I don't know, it's weird. Now the restored content mod for 2 does
It's
adds
substantial.
it adds a planet.
It's substantial.
Like that was originally going to be in the game that
Yeah.
the developers were going to do. It was a
Yeah.
droid planet.
Yep.
And you can go to Coruscant. You can visit like the Jedi Council. It's empty. But you originally, when they were making Coder 2, you were gonna get to go to Coruscant in the game,
Huh.
which is so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's so cool. And it's like you go to the council room. It's freaking
well,
awesome. There's
you
chairs
go
all over
to
the place
a
and,
council
like,
room in Coder 2.
You don't
that
go
is,
there. It's a
well,
cutscene.
It's a cutscene.
Right.
Your character
that
goes there,
that
though.
room that you're in, you can fly the Ebon Hawk to
that's
Coruscant,
cool.
and then you land, and then you
Nice.
you explore a very
Nice.
little bit, but you do get to explore
like, the
a little
Jedi
bit
Temple.
of Coruscant and
That's
the
cool.
Jedi Temple.
That's
yeah.
cool.
So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I've been playing a game called Townscaper on Game Pass.
Yeah?
Where you just literally you hit A and a little house pops up, and it's all water at first, and then you like build up little towns and stuff. And depending on how you place them, it's super simple. But there's a lot of complex strategies, I guess. So like if you put a house in the middle and then a bunch of houses around it, grass comes of street. And then
sure.
if you build one on top of the other, then it's a 2-story house, or it'll be a spire if you build a tree on top. Or it's kind of a fun nothing game. There's some fun YouTube videos on it, but it's just literally just for building
Sure.
little
Yeah.
towns. Or
I mean,
buildings
I've
or
played
whatever.
the cities game, you know, like Sim City. Like I
Which
played
is
that, you know,
way
and it's
more
like the same.
interesting and way
Oh,
more
really?
mechanics and way more fun. You literally like build a little house, a little town,
Oh.
or whatever.
Huh.
But that was kind of fun. And then I was gonna play Trek to Yomi, but I just wasn't ready. I'll probably play that this week. I booted up Forza, and it said I needed a 17 gigabyte update. which
So
at my
in-
house would
in
take
a month and a half,
24
you'll
hours
be halfway
at
there.
least. Maybe longer than 24
Yeah.
hours. It's really frustrating. My internet sucks. But yeah, I haven't played anything
Sure.
really lately. But I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of stuff coming out this year.
Same.
And this next, I think June is pretty slow, but from July to December, I think Nintendo has a game every.
Very cool.
And Xbox has nothing.
Right,
They've got
'cause
nothing
of
coming out.
delays.
Yeah, Starfield
Yeah.
and Redfall both got delayed. So
Dang.
so no first party Xbox this year. Still plenty of stuff on Game Pass,
Yeah.
but people are kind of like jumping off the boat because there's
Right.
no first party
Well,
stuff
that's
coming.
I mean that's one of the nice things about Game Pass from a consumer standpoint. Like because
Yeah,
it-
you can just
because it's
cancel it.
monthly and
Yeah,
they don't have
totally.
like a 1-year plan that is
Right.
50% off or whatever. It's like you could literally just cancel it if there was nothing you wanted to play that month, and then games can come out the next month, and then you can just subscribe. Which,
yeah, totally.
Which Microsoft, hopefully hopefully we kind of get a wave of cancellations, which
Yeah.
makes Microsoft realize they need a yearly
I
model.
genuinely think starting next year, we won't have that problem with Microsoft for the rest of the.
No,
like,
I don't
the
think
next
so.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
is,
I don't think so
packed
either.
with-
But I just
like you've got Avowed, you've got Fable, you've got Perfect Dark, you've got.
yeah, I just would love to. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Fable. I mean, I would.
I'm
Anyways,
stoked for
like
Perfect Dark.
Game Pass is what $15 a month.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So that's like $175 a year or something like that. 180. It's around there. 180. Yeah. So like if I could get Game Pass for a year for $100, I'd do it. You know, like
Yeah, but they don't.
no, I understand they don't
but
do
they
it. But what
are-
I'm saying is hopefully we get enough cancellations.
Oh,
Like
I see what
hopefully
you're
because
saying.
of these
Well,
delays
so
that people just
there
cancel.
were
and
rumors
then-
last month that Xbox was gonna go, with a family plan.
Oh right, yeah, a family plan would be awesome.
So if they do that, that would help.
Yeah.
And then you and I could. Well, what do we have with Game Pass right now? Do we have 2 separate accounts?
I don't think I'm paying for Game Pass right now.
You don't have Game Pass right now?
No, I do. Yeah, I think we're just paying for 2 separate accounts because it's really weird how it works with like
Yeah.
it has to be someone's primary Xbox like
Right,
for
right,
us to
right,
try and
right,
share a
right.
subscription right
Well,
now. It just
we're
doesn't really
game
work.
sharing on Xbox, I think, but that's just for stuff we. Or are we?
No,
I don't even know.
because you can only do that if you're signed in on both accounts. And
Oh,
like
yeah,
we've
you're
gotten
right,
new
you're right.
Xboxes and stuff. So
Yeah,
like
you're right.
we
That's the
were
whole thing.
at one point, but
Yeah.
there was even like one point where like I was trying to play something and you were playing it at the same time and it like kicked you off and like, you know,
so we're
like,
not game sharing.
so no, yeah.
Weird.
But yeah,
Who
if it-
knows?
a
Basically,
Game Pass family
Xbox,
plan
get
would,
your stuff
would-
together.
would be great. I feel like if it was like I don't know 5 people, that we'd have no problem getting 5 people
Yeah.
to just jump
You
on.
know what is
that,
coming
know?
out later this year is God of War 2. And I am pumped on
Have
that.
you played the first one?
Yeah. It's
Oh really?
awesome.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I didn't know you played that.
Yep.
But
God of War 2 is coming this year. What else? Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 3, all kinds of stuff. So we got lots of games coming.
Yeah.
Coming very soon.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing.
And clicking that
rating
bell.
Dude, I swear. Last week it was funny. This week it's funny because of last week. Don't do it again. Don't. I hate it. I will cut it out of the video. Please rate and review on all Perspective platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on Google. We're on iTunes. We're on YouTube. We're on Podcaster. We're on Spotcast. We're on
Really?
Stitcher. We're on
Oh
all-
jeez.
yeah,
We're
9
everywhere.
different platforms. If you go to anchor.fm/player-to-player, we're on there and you can find all the different places you can go to. So we're probably on your favorite podcast.
Yeah. I'm also on Reddit, YouTube, Letterboxd, Twitter,
all of Luke's
Instagram.
links are on my website, player2.fm. Go there. You can find all of Luke's socials, all of my socials, all that stuff. But really, thanks for listening.
Steam.
If you're listening, you're doing your part. So we really appreciate that. So keep listening, keep liking, keep reviewing. Leave us a question. You saw what we did with Cole's question, turned it into a whole episode. It was really good. Love to discuss things like that with you guys. So please keep those questions coming. But that's all we've got for today.
That's it.
Have a good day, you guys.
See you next week.
Bye.